From the heat and dust of Latin America, poverty-stricken and often violent, Gabriel Garcia Marquez blended history and superstition, the real and the surreal, to create a world as exotic and alluring as a South American carnival. He grew up here, in the Colombian town of Aracataca, a lonely child in his grandparents' house. That childhood formed the basis for his most famous book, 100 Years of Solitude. The New York Times called it the first piece of literature since the Book of Genesis that should be required reading for the entire human race. It sold more than 20 million copies worldwide, and there are translations in over 30 languages.
In his youth, José Arcadio Buendia and his men, with wives and children, animals and all kinds of domestic implements, had crossed the mountains in search of an outlet to the sea. And after 26 months, they gave up the expedition and founded Macondo, so they would not have to go back.
He began life as a left-wing journalist and spent much of his life in exile. Experts christened his work magic realism. He always said he simply reflected daily existence in Latin America.
No inventan nada.
I invent nothing, he said. People always praise my imagination, but I believe I'm a terrible realist. Everything I invent was already there in reality.
No logro inventar nada. Todo lo que invento ya está hecho por la realidad.
In 1982, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, but his career was far from over. Love in the Time of Cholera was a highly personal book about obsessive love, but his work had also grown increasingly political. He was a personal friend of the Cuban leader Fidel Castro. And towards the end of his life, he was still seeking to build bridges between Cuba and the outside world. A writer who combined political awareness with an overflowing imagination.